Well, good
Kiara,
and blessings and abundance to you, Eta. And how are you doing over there today?
absolutely incredible. A little bit colder than usual. Welcome to all of our awesome guests that are wanting to make a change in their life. You're in the right place at the right time.
Absolutely fantastic and well said. So, welcome to the Synerchi Organics channel, everybody, to our beautiful community. Thank you for being here with us today. We really appreciate you. If you like our content, please hit that thumbs up so that you can help our algorithm and progress on this health knowledge for all of the beautiful and abundant benevolence of all of you wonderful souls. Please also remember to hit that notification bell and, of course, subscribe to our channel. Etan, thank you very much, all of our community. Thank you too. And today's topic, we shall be speaking about carbohydrates, the one of the macronutrients that we supposedly need, or do we actually need carbohydrates? So, Etan, tell us a little bit about carbohydrates and where they are and what they do, and tell us a little bit more about those.
Well, super exciting. Certainly, there are a necessity for the body. If you break the word down, carbo and hydrate. So, we are carbon based beings. Therefore, we need carbon to hydrate ourselves. And you get that in many different forms. We're going to get into that in this video over here. But yeah, what I wanted to touch on was definitely you want to carry on investing in your health and wellness, and you want to put the purest things inside your body and your heart. So the information here might be controversial. Just stick with it and just do your own research. That's best in yourself. So carbon based vegetables, fruits, grains, all kinds of things we're going to get into over the course of this video here. But just remember, keep that in mind. We are carbon based beings, therefore, we need carbon inside of our system, not secondary carbon that you get from dairy products and poultry and meats and all the rest. Because remember, those beings are eating their own carbon in order to fulfill their carbon needs. So carbohydrates are basically broken down into simple sugars and then complex carbohydrates. The simple sugars are mainly, as what we know, sucrose, glucose, and fructose. And then the more complex are the starchy grains, proteins, carbs, fats, and all the rest. So those complex nutrients need to be broken down. And we're going to get into that a little bit more, aren't we, Kiara, in this session?
Absolutely. Cool. Thank you for that wonderful introduction to carbohydrates. So, everybody, as you can see, carbohydrates are there to help us get more energy. Now, are we 100% reliant on carbohydrates? Not entirely, but we do require carbohydrates. And that's what Etan's saying. And it's the right carbohydrates that you need to have in order to allow your blood glucose levels to remain constant and well balanced, instead of spiking your glucose levels in the blood with high carbohydrate value foods, whether they come from fruits or vegetables. The point is that we need to know which fruits and vegetables we're going to be eating. So Etan was talking about simple and complex carbohydrates, and each of those carbohydrates basically break down and turn into sugars. And in the body, if you're not using that sugar, and of course, if that sugar conversion isn't, as I just said, utilized, then what we're going to do is the body's going to start storing that as weight, as excess, as fat, which then starts to create health issues, diabetes, etc., that spikes dramatically because you're spiking your blood glucose levels up, and then they drop after you've had the carbohydrates, and then that's where we get that slump of energy. So with the slump of energy and the dip, you start to become fatigued and tired, and you feel like you want to eat more, and very specifically either more carbohydrates or more sugars, because it instantaneously gives you that relief. Now, that's an instant gratification process, whereas eating, we should be moderating the different food groups, i.e. protein, sugar, fats, carbohydrates, in moderation for your specific body, not for, I mustn't be working on your body, you must be working on your own body and knowing what's the best range for you from a caloric perspective. And we don't count calories, but we use it as a tool, as a resource to measure what it is that you're intaking, because it contributes and it helps, but it isn't the function of being able to nourish your body well. And that you can only do, no machine, no any other being can tell you how you feel in your body. Only you can. And when you figure out those things and you talk to people like ourselves at Synerchi Organics as traditional healers, we really come across and we speak to you about nourishing and very correctly detoxing the body so that you can enable lowering inflammation, so that you can enable your body to become homeostatic, well balanced. So Etan, in terms of simple carbohydrates, could you tell us a couple sources of simple carbohydrates, please?
Well, a very large group is fruits and vegetables. Sticking to the fruits, most certainly, as we mentioned earlier, simple sugars or simple carbohydrates are those mixed with carbohydrates known as cellulose. And cellulose, as an example, is fiber, and the fiber is there for a slow release or a quick release of those sucrose, glucose, fructose, and the rest of the sugar group that we're getting there. But that mango that you eat has that wholeness of nutrition in it. There we go, Kiara. It has that wholeness of nutrition in it, and that fiber or cellulose is there to assist in releasing it, therefore regulating the blood pressure. And that's what we're talking about with the complex carbohydrates, because they have those in order to release the body slow or fast. So mangoes is very rich in it. It's a fantastic medicinal source of a plant. I don't know if any of you know this, but those mango leaves, if you grow any of them, you can have them as a tea, and that's a fantastic source of anti-cancer, anti a lot of different things. But yet another thing is high in carbon is black activated charcoal. And when you consume black activated charcoal, Kiara, you mentioned earlier, you want to be detoxifying the body there. So when we have these sugars in us, if we're having too much of them, Kiara, you mentioned it, the body has to find a place to store it if we're not using that as energy. That's why athletic people tend to have a good physique. You know, whereas a person that doesn't exercise tends to store that energy for later use. So you also mentioned carbo counting there, Kiara. It's important and it's necessary if you're a professional bodybuilder, athlete, all those kinds of things in that realm. But don't categorize yourself in that. You don't need to be carbo counting. Just remember what it is. You're investing in your health and wellness, and you want to invite the purest things inside your body. So we of course know fruits and vegetables are from source, and we want to invite those into our body over there. But yeah, simple sugars, Kiara, that's great. Complex sugars, we've covered there as well, and those two work hand in hand. So sweet potato being a much better potato than your mass-produced, GMO potato that you could get cheap from the store over there. That has chemicals attached to it. It also lacks certain nutrients because remember, we need to add biodiversity to our farming area in order to create that diverse selection of nutrients. Therefore, what are we getting? Carbohydrates in their utmost quality. When we remove the nutrients from the soil feeds the plants. We don't feed the plants. The water doesn't even feed the plants. The water is just the transferer of those minerals and nutrients into the plant itself. And what else do plants do other than absorb carbon dioxide, right? They absorb it, therefore they fool themselves. So I hope that information was awesome. I like really take it and see the way that you grow vegetables and fruits in a different kind of way. And I'm talking to all those mainstream farmers out there that practice mainstream monoculture agriculture, because yeah, there's a lot more diversity that we can add into the atmosphere and onto the base of the soil where we grow our fruits and vegetables, where it is we get our carbohydrates. So we want to hydrate our body with carbon that is of pure source.
Absolutely awesome. Thank you for sharing that, and that's really great information. So simple. If you have to go to the store, it's fruits, vegetables, honey, sugar, agave, sweeteners, those kinds of things. Complex carbohydrates are more along the lines of your potatoes, your starches, like your pastas, your grains, and obviously those kinds of things, your breads, your flours. Those are complex carbohydrates, and those are in a highly it's not nourished. Those things are not well nourished. They don't have that much vitamins and minerals within them. However, there are very specific grains that are higher than most of the other grains, things like teff and quinoa, that are very high in protein and carbohydrates, and so in some instances fats as well. But if you're looking at quinoa as an example, it's very high protein, plus minus about 17 grams to 20 grams of protein per 100 grams, whereas the carbohydrates per serving are about 35 to 40 grams of carbohydrates. So it's just about a 2-to-1 ratio. So 2 carbohydrates to 1 protein molecule. And if you think of it in a chemistry format, your carbon has to help dissolve other materials in the body and disintegrate it. And that carbohydrate is part of that process that helps. So Etan was speaking earlier on about fiber, and fiber, the body, especially human bodies, we don't digest. And actually, if you look at cows, let's just use cows as a very specific example. They don't even digest it, and they have 4 stomachs. So, all they are doing, and all we are doing, and all we all require is an extraction process of all of those nutrients. And that is where the enzymes in your stomach, when you're eating fruits as an example, what you're looking for is the fiber slows the glycemic index process down by helping those enzymes dissolve the sugar content and prevents that from spiking your insulin and your blood sugar levels too fast. And this is where it's important to eat the fruit. And that's why if you're having a fruit juice, you're instantly spiking, especially stuff that is sitting on the shelf for months and months and months. Fresh fruit juices have live enzymes in them that are actually extraordinarily beneficial for helping the body handle those glucose spikes in the blood. And this is the thing, is even fresh fruit juice, you wouldn't have one of those every day. You would have to blend it and use vegetables, especially green vegetables that are very mineral rich. And you would use those to help counteract the sugar spike from your fruits and your vegetables, like carrots and beets, etc., that are already very high in sugar. So those kinds of vegetables, they give you longevity. So as Etan said earlier on, as an athlete, you are using that energy. That's why when you're an athlete, you can somewhat moderate or increase your calorie count by a slight amount based on the way that you actually treat your body. And your body is your everything, right? If you don't look after your body, what do you expect is going to carry you out later on in life? Like, what do you expect is going to hold you up and walk with you? Well, you got to develop strength in your core, in your abs, your chest, your shoulders, all of this. So, and I'm not talking about like you have to go and be a gym bunny. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you just moderate upkeep of the body is so important, and feeding it the right nutritional value is so important. So if you're looking at a spike in blood sugar levels, then what you're doing is you're taking your body out of that ketosis stage. And then when your body's out of that ketosis stage, you're basically flicking the switch off in your body, and now things start to go a little bit all over the show. So what happens is that your body then starts to, instead of using fat as energy, which is where you should be getting your energy from, fat, the sugar that comes from your fruit, especially, is brain food. It's glucose. But it's what types of fruits you're having, what kind of quantities, and how often you're having those fruits that are going to make a difference in how your body fluctuates in terms of its blood sugar levels. Now, Ethan, you often bring the power of astrology into our context of conversations. And what I'm looking for here is you spoke about carbohydrate and how the carbon molecule hydrates us. Could you speak very specifically about how that molecule converts into energy? And if that energy isn't used, how is it stored? And when it's stored, how can we reactivate the metabolism to burn that excess as energy?
Okay, complex question, and I'm gonna answer it with complex carbohydrates. Complex means that we've got to reverse engineer it and break it down. That's why gut health is the #1 healer when it comes to what it is you're investing in your body, once again. So astrologically speaking, Virgo is the ruler of the gut area, and that's Mercury. That's communication of the body with its outer realm. So whatever it is you eat, it's going to be transferring, breaking down, and putting into specific areas that are needed within the body. So it's going to be converting that into the bloodstream, and the bloodstream is going to transport, etc., all of those minerals and vitamins and what have you. So, astrologically speaking, that's amazing. Do with the fibrous part of that, so that complex carbon. Cellulose is indigestible by humans, and when we pass, we're getting rid of that fiber, that cellulose. So when we are doing a fast and that ketosis kicks in after around 2.5 days, that is burning excess fats, and it's pulling out minerals that are stored in pockets within your body. So little do we know, we have rheumatoid arthritis simply because there's nutrients that the body didn't get rid of way back when, and it had to store it somewhere. And that storage is now becoming inflamed, congested, and we like to talk about the body as the piping system. So if that piping system is congested, we're not able to get as clear a message to the brain, which of course is orchestrating the remainder of the body. The pineal and the pituitary gland are secreting chemicals that respond to the remainder of the body. And that's chemical messages being transferred to the remainder of the body. So that gut-mind connection is of the utmost importance. So when we talk about parasites, all of us have parasites, these tiny looking spider things that look like worms and different kinds of things that are a microscope. You definitely see that. So when you starve the body of unhealthy foods and start to put healthy foods in there, that's why fast foods and all these kinds of things, it's processed sugars. So we talked about complex sugars. We now talking about the simple sugars. Kiara, you mentioned it earlier. It's things like honey and even your energy drinks in store, no putting names out there, what have you. But when you have those are isolated sugars, and you're drinking that without the complex fibers, the complex carbohydrates. Therefore, you spike and then go back down. But the same is true when you invite too much of anything inside the body. You feel that slump because there's too much fiber, there's too much complex carbohydrates, there's too much sugar. Therefore, the body shuts down and has to reorchestrate itself and readjust. So, in that time period, the digestive tract is slower, things are processing less in your body, and really all the energy is using to fuel that whole area, that whole high sugar content. So when we have sugar, we know we're on a high energy. And what do we say to cancer patients? Stop eating sugar. Like, processed sugar is the one thing. They get mistaken with the glucose and the sucrose and the fructose that are in fruit that are combined with the fiber, the complex carbs that help process and metabolize the system and cleanse the system actually. So again, having activated charcoal or zeolite powder or diatomaceous earth, those things are getting rid of parasites or all kinds of feces from that, and so much more heavy metals that interact and correspond with those sugars. So again, people call it cancer when it gets wedged up in their breast, or as the example, but actually, really, it's a congestion thereof, and the mucus is that congestion because it's surrounding that cell. So yeah, Kiara, in ending, most carbohydrates are made up of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. And, for the most part, they're in different ratios. But in nature, you'll find carbon 6, hydrogen 12, oxygen 6. And that's 6 and 12 and 6 and 12 when combined together. It's there astrologically to work in perfect harmony with the body. That's why the cow eats the grass and gets its carbon fix. But if humanity eats the cow, they're getting a secondary source of that carbon. That it's what they believe is carbon, but it's dead matter. Whereas eating fruits and vegetables and other superfoods, and we'll stick at that. But there's an amazing ability that happens from the diversity of nutrients in the body, and you're getting those carbohydrates. So from purple sweet potato powder, or from dates even, or from spirulina, although it's lower in its carbohydrate content. Kiara, you mentioned pastas, breads, and cereals and all kinds of things earlier. Yes, those are sources of where you get it, but obviously it's processed right into a pasta from the potato or wherever it is it comes from. Some people are making quinoa pastas now, but that's a process. So they've gone and eliminated a lot of different types of minerals already, and you're only isolated with this. Plus, they use preservatives and other kinds of things in there that when we consume it. So don't be fooled in saying, okay, here's carbohydrates from a pasta on the shelf. Be conscious, be mindful about what's on the label, what it is that you are eating and consuming. Be mindful. Mind here, gut here is the other mind.
Absolutely awesome. Gut brain health connection. Absolutely awesome. I love that. And if you're eating carbohydrates, things like grains and pastas and breads and that, even grains, their protein is actually made up of gluten. And gluten is obviously a form of a complex carbohydrate, and glue tins your stomach. And basically glues together the everything in your stomach, and over time, as Etan said, that really starts to decay the organs, because essentially the organs can't absorb the minerals and are too inflamed to absorb the minerals that they actually require. So that's where you'll get distension, bloating, and this uncomfortable feeling, perhaps even retention of gut bowel movement, and obviously a blockage there. And you you need to realize that fiber is an important role in cleansing the gut, and activating those, allowing the activation of the enzymes in the gut to produce healthy bacteria and enzymes that will then digest those molecules and convert them into the correct nutrition for the body. So carbon is fantastic, as Etan's saying, when it's from a very specific source. And those things, even if you look at potatoes, like a white potato, whether it's organic or inorganic, is an interesting scenario to talk about as well. But when you cook a potato, when it's raw, it's a starch. So it's easy, it's a complex carbohydrate. But the moment you cook that starch, it becomes a simple carbohydrate. And then that immediately spikes up your blood sugar levels. And that's why, like, having a regulatory lifestyle, not on the extremes of either side. And you want to live and you want to experience as well. So you must do that. But also, if you're willing to do that, you should be willing to clean and maintain the body, because if you don't service the mechanism that allows you to live this wonderful life, then how do you experience more, which is our journey and our paths here. So with carbohydrates and their functionality, ketosis is a great place to help the body get that energy. And you'll see in fasting that you actually don't require the carbohydrates as much, because when you even just have a small teaspoon of whatever coconut oil, that amount of energy that just explodes in the body in a very healthy way, plus takes care of your brain, plus takes care of your skin, like, is unbelievable. So the fact that we are obviously eating things that affect our guts, carbohydrates, is a very important consideration in living well, right? And that's obviously a very huge part of why we started our superfoods business. Now, I want to ask you, do you think that, obviously you know quite a substantial amount of the superfoods and their nutritional values. So my question to you is do superfoods, I want to say across the average board of superfoods, are they very high in carbohydrates, or are they very high in nutritional value, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, etc.?
So both, actually, and both being because they are broken down. We don't ever eat a reishi mushroom or a chaga mushroom from the pack like this, and when we do eat that, from nature or whatever, we are getting them from source. But remember, the powders and everything are broken down in their natural air-drying form, and they're refined there. Like you said, they're processed in a specific way. So in a way, the body can process those superfoods a lot easier. It's like putting that into a smoothie. The smoothie blend, fruits, vegetables, bananas, blend that in a smoothie, and the fiber and everything is already broken down. Therefore, the gut has to work less. So it's rich in minerals and nutrients already. That's why we call them superfoods, because you got to have a smaller quantity in order to gain your daily intake of any sort of mineral. But that then is easy for your body to utilize as energy during the course of the day. So we believe that we need 3 meals a day, or even 5 in some instances, because we get a bit of colon movement. People think that they're hungry because their colon's just digesting whatever it is they've just eaten or they ate several hours ago. So I would encourage anybody to contact us about, ways in which you can fast. And we'll be happy to share information with you, spend some time with you on how it is you can make that transition. Because again, it's just the mentality that you have to eat 3 times a day, otherwise you won't survive. But yet you hear about all these people that do fasting and still survive and thrive even more. So we're actually getting rid of very old carbohydrates that have been stored for a long, long time. So yeah, that's why we love superfoods so much, because they really are there to be efficient within our body. And that's why Synerchi is a combination of the outer and the flow of the inner. So we combine our outer with the inner in order to generate heaven on earth within our body. That's what it is.
And wonderful energy there, right? So yeah, Synerchi, a combination of the superfoods, the vitamins, the minerals, and the energy in the body, like you just said, is wonderful. So when we combine that, you get a synergy. Anyways, so the powerful energy and momentum behind obviously eating foods that are increasing our lifestyle and our habits of life create a wonderful flow and a wonderful balance in our lives, keeps us sharper, working better, more alive, more energetic, more able to recover faster, lower inflammation, less risk towards disease and illness, and obviously keeping that body in the best and most healthy condition where you have good immunity, your immune system is in such a good shape that the foods that you're eating are not causing inflammatory diseases, which is basically the start to autoimmune disease. And inflammatory diseases start at autoimmune diseases start at inflammatory, and obviously antioxidants reduce the inflammation in the body. So guys, we have so much exciting stuff coming up for you in our brand. You need to keep a very, very, very close look out to our links that are shared down below and what we're doing online and with our retailers, because we are sharing wonderful things and we are doing wonderful things for restaurants around South Africa. We're doing wonderful things for you and your health where you don't even know it. And as the saying goes for the entrepreneur, you don't see what happens in the back to ensure what is seen in the front actually has a compounding effect. And our effect was to get our food into as many bellies as possible to increase everybody's nutritional intake on a daily basis, because our foods were so highly processed and low in nutritional value. So through that, we've created meal plans where we suggest on how to transition. We don't want you to go from A to Z right now, because that's not the point. That doesn't happen. A moon cycle is a moon cycle. The season is a season, so on and so forth. The bear goes into hibernation and he comes out of hibernation. He goes into hibernation, storing energy, collecting energy throughout the season where he's burning the energy to collect that energy. So guys, we have 6 minutes left here and we are going to throw down the last little bit of impactful information. Etan, swing right away on some of your last comments, please.
Yeah, just in ending, thank you very much for that, Kiara. Definitely, we love what it is that we do, and we're very passionate about bringing this knowledge to people. Certainly, so one thing I wanted to touch on was the macronutrients. So the macronutrients consist of four main categories: fats, proteins, carbohydrates, and nucleic acid. So nucleic acid is basically a carbon skeleton that attaches itself to nucleotides in our DNA. So that's the simple saying: you are what you eat. And nucleic acid is abundant in a whole bunch of different sources of foods and vegetables, of which a lot we covered here today. But you definitely want to be focusing and paying attention on the DNA building in your body, because remember, we're recycling our cells in our body, which is made up of DNA. That's basically nucleic acid basically binds itself to nitrogenous base of the DNA, and we're able to have a solid foundation. So again, the quality protein, the quality foods that we put inside of our body, just remember, you're investing in your body every time you're putting something in it. You're investing or deteriorating your health. So that's just what I wanted to say over there. There's a lot more that we can cover and that we're going to be covering. So keep an eye out, please, on our pages for those notification bells that are coming in, on your social media pages and wherever it is that you're watching this video from. We appreciate your time. We love and adore you. And please inbox us with any questions. Kiara mentioned meal plans. We are not here to bash non-vegans or plant-based people. That's not what we hear about. We're here to share the information, and it's up to you to take that information and apply it to you and your family's lives. Because at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day, this is all about your family, the kinds of nutrition that you're giving your family on a daily basis. So whether you know a person that's watching this that has a lack of money or an abundance of money, both of you have the opportunity to grow vegetables and fruit in your front lawn. So it doesn't matter what wealth class you come from. Really, this is information. Apply it to the outside of your garden. Get healthier. Get inspired by investing in your health and wellness. And we appreciate you picking us as that form of guidance. Of course, there's lots of other information out there that people have, but yeah, truly, Kiara says that we've got a lot of exciting things to come and share with you. So really looking forward to that. Thank you for your time here, Kiara, as well today. Really, it's been a pleasure. I love these videos and podcasts with you.
Absolutely awesome, and thank you, Etan. So how can Synerchi Organics community get hold of you specifically through your social channels for an astrology consultation or a health consultation? Could you tell us how we could do that?
Yes, definitely. You can reach out to I'd say info at Synerchi Organics. And if you're specifically interested in the astro birth chart readings and things from my personal side, of course, you could ask for Etan. That will be great. You know, the astro readings is another part of this. I am holding back so much from putting that information on this page, but yet it's the mother language, it's the mother knowledge that's the very foundation of this all. Yeah, so yeah, please, I'm very grateful that you can reach out to us on info@synerchiorganics.com, but more importantly, go visit our website so that you can make the changes today.
Absolutely wonderful. Thank you, Etan, very, very much for being here, for being part of this show. Again, we appreciate you on the Carbohydrate Show. To everybody that heard that, you can follow Etan on his channel, YouTube channel down for his astrology. We'll leave the link down below for the name for his channel. We'll do the same for my channel down below, which is based on all things health and wealth. So we integrate, as you can see, we integrate nutrition with astrology, with wealth, and how does that unfold into a trinity of your best version of you, your best life. And if you want to get more of this kind of content, hit that notification bell right now, right there, so that you can take action on your life today. And if you want to know anything, like Etan said, contact us down below in the comments below, or reach out to us on info@synerchiorganics.com, and we'll see you guys there or on our website, and go and check out all the awesome stuff that we have. Thank you to our beautiful community. Please hit the thumbs up for us so that you can pump our algorithm too. We love you guys. We appreciate you. Thank you, Etan, once again. Take care, beautiful souls.
Take care, everybody. Thank you. Let's bye.
Bye.